more than anything, it is a methodology that I believe can become a movement. But the experience of the journey of Bionic Sales, the experience of the journey to the center of selling, which is our users, that experience is a definitive difference than a course or a task or a curriculum, because Bionic Sales isn't binary. Bionic Sales is about the human, and the extension there is the technology. And the human is unique. So Bionic Sales is about experiencing all of those key components so that our bionic seller, as they go through that journey, learns their own way of using the tools and methodologies, not our way. I think a lot about comics, professional comedians, and that ethos, that policy and culture that they have, where the only thing you couldn't do is be a hack. And a hack in comedy is somebody that uses somebody else's joke. And so that is their, number one rule, and they live by it. So you look at salespeople, and it's the exact opposite. It's like somebody figured out a way to get somebody to answer a phone call, and a bunch of lemmings follow behind going, "That's it. You have to call at 10:22 in the afternoon because that worked for this guy, and he said this line." It's done as soon as it's said. And what kills me, and this is why I get most aggravated when we were doing sessions on "You're Doing It Wrong," is I'm literally watching, and I feel bad for them because a lot of times they're coached and trained and expected to do these things. But you watch a bunch of lemmings who are getting trained on something that worked 3 years ago.
Right.
When I see...
For a moment. It worked 3 years ago for a moment. And I don't care if the moment is months. What is the intent here? If the intent is to serve, if the intent is to sell something that is of use and of value, and in exchange for that you receive some sort of fee, purchase, subscription, whatever, then all's good. We're not looking for some kind of perfect environment. We're looking for an elevated environment. And
yeah, absolutely. No, and back to the comic thing, because you really hit it here. I mean, they're not looking like they have structure. Comics all perform a very similar way. They know they have a bit that turns into a chunk, that turns into a segment, or whatever it is after that turns into a show. But every time that a comic gets out and works new material, they're not just working new material for themselves, they're working new material for the entire community, because they want to, it's evolving their product, but differentiating it from everybody else. It's the same thing with sales. You still have to move a conversation forward. You have to apply the applications, but none of the applications are we going to tell you, here are the 4 steps to closing a deal, because there aren't 4 steps to closing a deal. Every deal is different. Every business model
is different. That's exactly right.
And client is different.
And it, to me, what Sell Bionic is about is taking whatever period of time, an afternoon, a weekend, a month, 9 weeks, to say, okay, what's really going on here? Because if you're looking at it as the faster I go, the more I'm going to sell, you're going to run out of steam very quickly, and you're going to be exposed. If you're looking at the long term, now you have something where you're building something, and that journey has depth and resonance. And when something resonates, it stays with people. How powerful would it be for me to have a conversation with a prospect where it resonates with them? Whether they buy from me this week, next week, or next month, I have distinguished myself, not because of what I said, but because of the experience I created between us. And this is, to me, these experiences, these 9-week experiences, are about what's really going on here. What happens when I do these activities? What happens when I send this type of message? What happens when I say, is this the best I can do? That, to me, that is one of the magic questions for professionals. Is this the best I can do? Because when we reach that high, then we start to collaborate, then we start to throw it at colleagues, then we say, okay, who do I look to? Who do I admire? How did they get where they are? that again, it's all about elevation. It's all about just lifting everything. And when the nautical thing is a rising tide lifts all boats. If you and I can help some number of people in sales become better professionals, better human beings, better contributors to the business environment, then yes, we've moved from a methodology to a movement.